Remember how we saw the picture of the red blood cells? Okay, so the red stuff you see there are actually the red blood cells. Okay, now, if you're born and you are, you have your blood type is A, then on the surface of your cells, you have this thing scientists called an A antigen, which actually means, think about it like a flag on the top of the membrane of your red blood cells that shouts, I'm A. This is the A flag. Okay. If you're B, then you have a different type of flag. Okay. So let's say that's Italy's flag, and then the other one is France's flag or whatever. Okay. So a different type of flag that calls now I'm B, and that's determined by your genes. Okay. If you're AB, then what do you think happens? Both. Yes. So you have both flags on the surface of your red blood cells. So you're AB, and when you're 0, none. Okay, so it's an empty, well, it's not empty really, but it doesn't have this type of protein, this type of flag on the surface of the red blood cell. And that happens to the trillions of red blood cells that you have in your body. Okay, all your red blood cells. Remember how we saw the picture of the red blood cells? Okay, so the red stuff you see there are actually the red blood cells. Okay, now, if you're born and you are, you have your blood type is A, then on the surface of your cells, you have this thing scientists called an A antigen, which actually means, think about it like a flag on the top of the membrane of your red blood cells that shouts, I'm A. This is the A flag. Okay. If you're B, then you have a different type of flag. Okay. So let's say that's Italy's flag, and then the other one is France's flag or whatever. Okay. So a different type of flag that calls now I'm B, and that's determined by your genes. Okay. If you're AB, then what do you think happens? Both. Yes. So you have both flags on the surface of your red blood cells. So you're AB, and when you're 0, none. Okay, so it's an empty, well, it's not empty really, but it doesn't have this type of protein, this type of flag on the surface of the red blood cell. And that happens to the trillions of red blood cells that you have in your body. Okay, all your red blood cells. Okay, so let's move on now. And now this is the interesting bit, okay, that if you're type A, blood type A, then you're also born with soldiers, let's call them this way, in your blood that fight B. So the opposite. Whatever you are, you like. Whatever you're not, you dislike, and you fight it. Does that make sense? So if you're type A blood type, then you have antibodies in your blood. So these other little proteins that they just go around into your blood circulation, and if they see B, they're going to fight that. And we're going to see that fight there when we do the experiment in a bit, okay? The same goes with, if you're B, then you have antibodies for A, because you don't like A, but you don't have antibodies for B, okay? How about if you're AB? None. You have no soldiers, no antibodies. You love everyone. Yes? Okay. And if you're O, you hate everyone. The opposite. Okay, so if you're O, you have both anti-A and anti-B antibodies. This is going to make sense in a bit, because this is really important. Have you heard of the fact that we cannot take blood from everyone?
Yes, because the blood will clot.
Your blood will clot. This is what we're going to see in a bit. We're going to see what happens if you're blood type A, yeah, and you take blood from B, for example, okay? Your blood clots, so those antibodies, they bring the red blood cells together and they fuse them together. And imagine that happening inside your vessels and inside the, the capillaries and things. That's not something that you like happening, okay? So in the old times, people didn't know any about this. So they would get blood transfusion from anyone, and then some people would die, and they would wonder, why does that happen? But then, I think I have a picture of the guy. Sorry, I'm going to show it to you. Have the different types of blood. The answer is probably evolutionary, but we don't have a robust answer about it. But I want to show you this guy, Karl Landsteiner. He was from Austria. He got the Nobel Prize in medicine, physiology and medicine, in 1930, because he realized, he found out that we have different blood types, types of blood. So this is the important thing I wanted to show you. And there's one more thing I'm going to show you. Forget about that. How about animals? Do you think they have different types? Yes? No? The same as ours? Okay, so most animals have different types, blood groups, but they're different to ours. It's a totally different system, okay? So, yes, if you have a golden retriever, it cannot take blood from every other type of dog, for example, but again, it's a different type of system, okay? Also, you cannot transfuse your dog, yeah, or the other way around. Okay. Brilliant. Which... do mosquitoes have a preference for blood type? What do you think?
I think the sweetest.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. It's true. So people that have diabetes, for example, they tend to complain that they get bitten by mosquitoes quite a lot. The same goes with people that sweat a lot, because probably I think those substances that come out and the mosquitoes get them. But there is actually an interesting paper, which is just one, so I wouldn't trust it very much. A long time ago, 2004, where people found that they also prefer type O. I haven't seen a repetition, so I'm not sure if it's true. Okay, so keep that in mind. Okay, so in general, we're not sure. Good. And very quickly, I'm going to tell you a few more things. In 1 second. There's a lot of misinformation out there concerning your blood type, yeah? So some people claim that you can choose a particular diet, or you can say something about your character or things like that, okay? There's no evidence about that. It's important to remember, okay? So here I'm just showing you how there have been some correlation with things like, for example, apparently females that have type B, it has been correlated with higher stroke incidence. But all these things, you have to take them with a grain of salt. Okay, so it's not very evidence-based, or anyway, it's not a very hard correlation. But how about eating? I wouldn't worry about that. You can eat everything you want. So it's not based on any scientific data. And your character, obviously, is also not based on your blood type. Okay, this is always important to remember. Mm-hmm. Yep, so the most important thing in this experiment is to use your own needle. Yeah? Okay, so we have independent needles here, okay? And you put it in here in this EpiPen. Okay, you open it, and this is the needle. But this is the needle, but it's tiny. Because you're kids, I'm also going to put it on 4. Now, what I'm going to do is, I just need 3 drops, okay? Just 3 drops. Who's the brave one?
It doesn't mean you're brave.
Very brave. I'm giving you this. It's just an alcohol.
Oh,
okay. A wipe, yeah? So just pick a finger that you don't want to use ever again in your life, because this is the last time you're going to use it. It's fine. This is it.
Oh, okay.
That's it, that's what. Now I want it, okay? So now, getting your blood. Λοιπόν, κοίτα τώρα. It shouldn't hurt now at all. It shouldn't hurt at all. And also, I want you to get angry or something, because you have low blood pressure here. Έλα, you're fine. Είσαι τέλεια, μια χαρά. Brilliant. Okay, 1.
And that made him angrier.
2. It shouldn't hurt, right?
He's angry.
3. Brilliant. So now I'm going to give you another piece of ethanol. Put it on top. And you're done. That's it.
Well,
Wouldn't it burn if you put alcohol straight on
don't
It doesn't
tell
burn,
people
guys.
that. They just do it.
Now, guys, before these things dry out, here I have, choose these ones,
Color?
the soldiers. Forget the colors. The colors are irrelevant. It's just so that I don't mix them up. These are anti-A. So these are soldiers against A. If they see the A flag, okay, it's going to look like milk that has gotten bad.
Are we allowed to drink that after?
Sorry?
Are they antibodies?
These are antibodies, okay? So antibodies, not the antigen. The antigen, remember, the flag, is on top of your red blood cells. Now I'm adding, this is B. These are the antibodies, the soldiers. Think about them as. So the soldiers, in order to fight, have to see the flag, the same flag. And the final thing, which I can talk to you about, is the rhesus. The rhesus is the exact same thing. It's again a flag, with the name of rhesus. You either have it or you don't have it. It's called rhesus. It has this weird name because it was first identified in the rhesus monkeys. That's why the scientists called it rhesus, not for any other reason. The difference with the rhesus is that you're not born with the soldiers against rhesus if you're negative, yeah? You have to come in contact and then you will develop soldiers. Yes? So now I'm taking this high-tech science tool.
High-tech science tool.
This, whatever, toothpick. And I'm do this, okay, mix it. Can you see what happened? What happened here? Can you see how the red blood cells are...
They're dying.
They're stuck together. Okay. This happened at A. Okay, I'm going to write it down. So this is B. Look at B. What happens in B? It's just a nice homogeneous solution. Blend, exactly. Take another one. And let's see what happens when we do the same with rhesus. Okay. What happens? Is it nothing?
Sticking together.
They're sticking together. Come on top and have a look a little bit better at what's happening.
So for A we have
Coagulation, that's the word. Okay, so that was A.
B
E,
is
and
blend.
this is rhesus, which has an R.
And what do we see for rhesus, guys?
So, what? So they're stuck together.
Again.
Yes, again you have coagulation, as it's called. So your friend
Nikita.
Nikitas, what's his blood type? You think from this?
B.
Why is it B? Everyone says B, by the way, when you first do it.
Because it blended with B.
Well, remember what we said. If this is your red blood cell and it has an A flag, then what type of, what's your blood type?
A.
It's A, yeah? Okay. If you have B, you're B. Okay. What we add here is the antibodies, the soldiers. So we call them anti-A. So this is a soldier. This soldier, okay, is going to start fighting if he sees the A on your
it's
cells.
against A essentially.
So against A, yes. Okay. So in this case, what happened here? Did the soldier see an A on Nikita's blood?
Looks like it.
I think they did. Yeah.
Fight A.
So he's definitely A. Did they see a B? If they had seen a B, then what type would Nikita's be? AB. Okay. So they didn't see a B. Did they see the rhesus?
Yes.
There is a rhesus. Okay. Again. So Nikita's is A plus. Does that make sense? Okay.
Who won though? That's the only
Ναι,
question.
stop τώρα και να το... Ναι, βγάλε το αυτό αν θέλεις. Το καταλάβαμε.